Just want to say before I start, no, I'm not the kid from 2.5 Men. I was driving over here, and I saw a homeless guy who was playing the guitar, so I gave him $10. Yeah, I bought myself a new guitar. A little about myself, when I was 13, I went to the doctors and he said, Keith, that's my name. He said, Keith, you're autistic. I was like, sweet, I like to draw. And he was like, no, you don't understand. You have a social disorder called Asperger's syndrome. And I was like, oh, what's that? He's like, oh, it's no big deal. You're just going to have a hard time making friends and you're never going to get laid. So I was like, can I still get to draw? I really do have autism, and after every single show I do, people always ask me that. I did a show last night, and this girl came up to me, and she's like, hey, are you really autistic? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, you could hardly tell. And I was like, hey, are you really a girl? She's like, yeah. I was like, you could hardly tell. I always got picked on in school for having Asperger's by this kid named Josh. You know, he used to beat me up and stuff, and he told me if I told anyone, he'd kill me. And that's very serious stuff, you know? So I came home one day with all these bruises and marks all over my face, and my dad was like, Keith, what happened? And I was like, oh, Josh did this to me, and he told me if I told anyone, he said he'd kill me, so I told the school you did it. And a couple weeks later, the bruises and marks started coming back, and the school was like, what happened? I thought we took care of it. I was like, oh, my mom started drinking. You ever see someone you didn't like in high school and you find out they have a worse job than you? It's like the greatest feeling, you know? I'm a struggling stand-up comedian. Josh is homeless. I bought a guitar off him earlier.